Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the world of anime tower defense, where the grind is real and the pull rates can be a heartbreaker. Let's be honest, how many of us have rolled over 150 times just to see a single mythic pop up? Yeah, we've all been there, right? It's like the game is testing our patience, but fear not, because I'm here to make sure you spend those hard-earned summons wisely. In today's video, we're bringing you the ultimate tier list for all the units in anime tower defense. Whether you're just starting out, or you've been around the block a few times, this list is your go-to guide to know which units are worth the grind and which ones you should probably avoid like the plague. So grab your snacks, sit back, and let's break down the best of the best and maybe throw a little shade at the worst of ATD. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking units in anime tower defense. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos. Thanks.
The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Lightning Wielder, Yuso, Lightspeed, Blade Master, and Gale. Alright, let's dive into the D tier units of anime tower defense, and oh boy, these guys are not winning any awards anytime soon. First up, we have the Lightning Wielder, who, despite his electrifying name, really lacks any spark. His damage per second is just plain bad, and his range, even worse. It's like he's trying to play tag with the enemy but never quite gets close enough. If you find yourself with Lightning Wielder in your lineup, just know you're in for a rough time. Trust me, you'd be better off rolling with almost anyone else. Next, let's talk about Yuso. Now I'm going to be honest, Yuso isn't the worst. I mean, he's not good, but he's not Blade Master bad. Speaking of which, Blade Master might just hold the crown for the lowest DPS in the game. He swings that blade like he's buttering toast. Slow, unthreatening, and just sad. And don't even get me started on Lightspeed. His only redeeming quality is that he's cheap to place and upgrade. But cheap doesn't win battles, folks. Then, there's Gale, who's actually not terrible for a rare unit when it comes to DPS. But outside of that, he brings nothing else to the table. So if you're looking to build a dream team in anime tower defense, do yourself a favor and skip these guys. Save your gems for something more, well, useful. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Buddha, Stretchy, Dragon Slayer, Electroslash, Annie, and Celestial Waterbearer. Alright folks, let's dive into the C tier units in anime tower defense. Now, I know what you're thinking. C tier, why even bother? But hey, every unit's got its charm, or at least a little something worth talking about. So let's kick things off with Buddha. Buddha is an epic unit, but honestly, he's more like an epic disappointment. Sure, he's got decent range, but his damage output is seriously lacking. It's almost like he's meditating a little too hard instead of, actually doing damage. If you're looking for a unit to carry you through tougher stages, Buddha ain't it. Now, onto Stretchy. This guy is like the weird cousin at a family gathering. Kinda awkward, but surprisingly useful in certain situations. Stretchy's range and damage are pretty low, but his seconds per attack is super fast. You'll find yourself needing him at least once to unlock that Stretchy Orc evolution, so don't sleep on him completely. Plus, if you enjoy watching a rubbery dude slap enemies in rapid succession, he's your guy. It's quirky, but there's some fun in that chaos. And then we've got Dragon Slayer and Electroslash, who are like the ultimate yin and yang of C tier. Dragon Slayer comes with 9 upgrades, but they cost a fortune, and the payoff is as underwhelming as a firecracker that doesn't pop. Meanwhile, Electroslash is the opposite, one of the best early game units with her full AoE and solid DPS when maxed out. She's perfect for new players trying to clear the story mode, but don't expect her to shine in tougher modes. Basically, she's your training wheels, and once you've learned to ride, it's time to move on. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Chi Master, Stretchy Sailor, Sword Master, Shadowbolt, Veggie, Serpent Fang, and Ice Bender. Let's dive into some of the B tier units in anime tower defense. These characters might not be the absolute best, but they definitely have their moments of greatness. Starting off with Chi Master, this guy is a bit of a mixed bag. Once fully upgraded, he's pretty solid and can hold his own, but man, what a headache at the start. His attack is bugged, and half the time it feels like he's just standing there doing nothing. Still, for infinite mode, he sneaks his way up to A tier. Quite a surprise, right? Just make sure you have the patience to get him there. Next up, we've got Stretchy Sailor, who's a bit of a powerhouse when maxed out, thanks to that long line AoE. His stats are pretty respectable overall, but there's a catch. His seconds per attack is on the high side. It's like watching paint dry sometimes, but hey, when he hits hard. And then there's Swordmaster, aka Aster. This guy's got some good range, decent damage, and a decent SPA, but if you're comparing him to other legendaries, he falls a bit short. Think of him as the dependable friend who might not be the star of the show, but still gets the job done. And let's not forget about Serpent Fang, the budget version of Battle Frenzy. He's a great starter with his full AoE and solid stats, and his upgrades won't break the bank. Meanwhile, Icebender brings some valuable utility to the table. She can slow down enemies and has surprisingly solid DPS for a rare unit. She's like that sneaky MVP you didn't see coming, helping you rack up damage over time. These units may not be top tier legends, but they've got their charm and can definitely be part of a winning strategy. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Skyflame, Ocean Sentinel, Tengen, Shinobi, Tidal Empress, Battle Frenzy, Cursed Face, and Tide Warrior. Alright, let's dive into some of the A tier units in Anime Tower Defense and see what makes them stand out. First up, we've got Skyflame. Now, I know non-evolved Skyflame isn't anything to write home about, definitely not as strong as some of the other mythics out there. But listen, this guy's evolution is a game changer. You'll definitely want to grab him early and start working towards that top tier evolution, because once he's evolved, Skyflame becomes a powerhouse that can outshine most units on the field. It's all about playing the long game with this one. Next we have the Ocean Sentinel, a bit of an oddball among the mythics. On paper he doesn't seem like much, a short range, bad SPA, and his AoE is, well, kinda small, but his hybrid targeting and solid base damage help him stay relevant. He's one of those units that, while not jaw-dropping, gets the job done if you know how to use him right. And for those of you working on clearing story mode, Tengen is your guy. As one of the few heal units, he shines with just a few upgrades and is fantastic for those tight story runs where you need quick and reliable firepower. Get him set up early and he'll carry you through, and let's not forget some of the other MVPs like Shinobi and Tidal Empress. Shinobi is arguably the best legendary unit in the game right now. His low SPA, great range, and high base damage make him an absolute beast, and his evolutions are just icing on the cake. Meanwhile, Tidal Empress brings a full AoE with decent DPS, which might seem a bit tame at first, but a huge AoE radius makes her perfect for handling swarms. Each of these units brings something special to the table, and when you mix them up in your lineup, you've got a recipe for both story and infinite mode success. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Moonslayer, Crimson Fist, Skyflame Evo, Psycho Wave, Shinobi Four Tails, Stretchy Orc, Berserker, Aqua Hollow, and Tidal Predator. Alright, let's dive into some of the absolute best S tier units in Anime Tower Defense. If you're looking to dominate the game, you need to get your hands on these mythics, but beware, not all of them are created equal. For example, Moonslayer stands out because of his insanely low seconds per attack. Combine that with solid range and base damage, and you've got yourself a pretty formidable unit. However, he's limited to a line AoE, which can be a bit of a drawback in some scenarios. Still, if you position him right, Moonslayer can absolutely wreak havoc on enemy waves. Now, let's talk about Crimson Fist. He's pretty similar to units like Berserker Evo and Cursed King, except without the bleed effect that makes them so devastating. While his stats are just a smidge below those of the top mythics, he still holds his own in most battles. And if you're a fan of high impact sustained damage, Skyflame Evo might just be your guy. When maxed out, his enormous line AoE attack sticks around for several seconds, dishing out continuous damage. It's like a flamethrower on steroids. The catch? You'll need to level him up quite a bit to get the most out of him. Now, for those who like to keep their distance, Stretchy Orc has one of the longest ranges in the game. He's perfect for those tactical plays where you want to chip away at enemies from afar, but remember, his lack of raw DPS means he shouldn't be your go-to unless you're building a very specific type of defense. And finally, there's the reigning king of the mythics, Tidal Predator. This guy has a massive cone AoE attack that dishes out crazy damage with a super low cooldown. In terms of DPS, he outshines almost everyone, making him an absolute must-have if you're aiming to top the leaderboards. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Shinobi Six Tails, Red Knight, Ant King, Quake Emperor, Cursed King, Berserker Evo, and Forest Keeper. Let's dive into the S+ tier units in Anime Tower Defense and see what makes them the absolute best in the game. Starting off, we have Shinobi Six Tails. This unit is a game changer when it comes to full AoE damage. Once fully upgraded, Six Tails boasts incredible damage, range, and seconds per attack. It's currently sitting at the top of the charts alongside the other secret units. You want a unit that can wipe out waves in a single attack? Look no further. Then there's the Red Knight. Similar story, full AoE and fantastic stats all around. Sure, his range is slightly lower than Six Tails, but when you see him in action, that hardly matters. He's a powerhouse through and through. Next, let's talk about the Ant King. This one has the highest base damage of all the secret units. That's right, the highest. But don't get too excited just yet. His other stats are a bit more modest. Still, don't let that deter you. His overall performance lines up quite closely with Shinobi and Red Knight, making him an excellent choice for those who want pure, unfiltered damage output. Now, if you're looking for a hybrid with some serious firepower, the Quake Emperor is your guy. This secret unit has an incredibly long range and high damage. Fully upgraded, he's also full AoE, and trust me, he's a must-have for any serious squad builder. And let's not forget the mythic units that can hold their own against these secrets. Cursed King, for example, is full AoE when upgraded and dishes out bleeding damage with solid stats across the board. His skill takes a few seconds to channel, but the damage payoff is absolutely worth the wait. Then there's the evolved Berserker, who's basically Cursed King, but cranked up a notch. He also has bleed and full AoE, but his stats are a bit higher, making him arguably the best mythic in the game right now. Oh, and a special shout out to Forest Keeper, the only farm unit available. She's crucial for boosting your squad's economy, especially if you're going for longer battles. Even though you might not need her for infinite mode, she's still a top tier pick for most strategies. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.